Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Sray. This particular video, I kind of want to go into a little bit deeper of how to unlearn habits from our family. Um, our family that we grew up specifically, kind of like the people who raised us, our parents, our guardians, our siblings, our grandparents, whoever was in your household that you grew up with that had a big influence on you and how it affects our romantic relationships. And I kind of wanted to share what habits I had and how I kind of learned how to fix them. For me, one of the biggest things that I did was that I would belittle people I dated. I would call them a lot of names because it was so normal in my family to yell at each other and name call and raise my voice and irrationally yell at each other. It was very normal. So that's how I would deal with my anger when I was dating somebody. So one of the things I had to learn was honestly just to take my space and just be like, look, I'm angry right now. Give me space. Give me an hour or two for me to be alone so I can calm down because I know myself when I'm mad. Um, I don't I don't think. I say things and I'm very vicious with my words. I know what to say to hurt you and I will say it to hurt you because I'm angry. So for me, I just needed to calm down. I can't talk to you if I'm angry because I'm going to hurt you. And I'm very verbal about it. I'm very upfront, and I tell people that my partner in particular, and I tell him like, just let me be in my own space for a little bit, then I'll come talk to you when I'm ready. And that did help because I was able to think about how I felt. I sat there and rationalized everything. I was able to put it into words. I was able to be like, I didn't feel happy when you did X, Y, and Z. Instead of if I'm angry, I'm just gonna call you the B word, the F word, whatever. Like anything that will make you feel bad. Um, and that's not healthy, right? Like that's bad. So I had to learn a lot of communication styles that I would practice as a kid, or witness as a kid. Because again, sometimes my parents wouldn't hear me if I didn't talk loud enough. That meant I had to yell. And that's how I learned how to talk. When I was mad, if I wanted to be heard, I would yell. I would yell and I would scream because that's what I saw them do. So that manifested into my personal relationships. I didn't do it so much with my friendships. I did it more with my relationships, like the ones I dated romantically, my boyfriends. And that's not fair to them. So yeah, I had a lot of anger that I didn't know how to regulate. I didn't know how to. Everybody gets angry, right? But I didn't know how to put them into words. I didn't have a mechanism to be like, chill. I didn't have a way of letting out my anger. I just knew if I'm angry, I'm just gonna spill it out right now, and you're just gonna deal with the mess after. And in my household, my parents did that to each other, and they always forgave each other. Like they didn't say they forgave each other, but they would always make up by talking again, as if nothing happened. So in my head, that's normal, right? It's normal to lash out and then expect your partner to take it. So that's what I would do. Um, I also wanted to state one of my motivations why I even decided to change, especially when it came to my anger issues, was because I want to have children one day and I don't want to influence them in a toxic manner. My parents influenced me in a lot of ways, good and bad, and I don't want to pass down my toxic habits. It wasn't simply to make my partner happy. I that wasn't my motivation. My motivation was I want to give my kids what I never got, which was love. I'm not saying I never was loved by my parents, but love in a healthy manner. And I want to give them a chance of at life where they're not developing emotional issues or communication issues at a young age because I didn't allow that space. That's not fair, right? Like I feel like it's not fair to take advantage of um, your children's youth where you're polluting them with your bad habits. They're going to learn from you. You're like their best friend and you're everything that they're around and you're here to take care of them. So whatever you do and whatever you do around them, they're going to soak up like a sponge. And I really wanted my children to have the advantage emotionally and mentally to be able to regulate their emotions, not just financially. I understand finances are cool or whatever, but you can't buy mental stability and you can't buy being able to regulate your emotions. You cannot buy that. And it takes a lifetime for some people to even grasp that. I want to give them gold mentally more than anything else in the world. I want to be able to be like, this is how you're supposed to communicate when you're mad. I know they're going to do little tantrums and things, but if I do tantrums, they're going to think it's okay to do tantrums, an adult tantrum, you know? If I am abusive emotionally, they're going to do that because that's what I taught them. So that really motivated me. Um, Not everybody wants to have kids, that's which is fine, but that was my motivation was that I want to give you the privilege emotionally and mentally that I didn't have. I know some people get privileged financially, which I obviously want to provide if I can. But if I can't provide that, I am going to teach you how to regulate your emotions, my guy. I am going to teach you how to talk. I am going to teach you how to tell how you feel without hurting someone's feelings along the way, and how to communicate that I don't feel good right now without throwing things and yelling at things. Yes, my dad would throw things as an adult too. So, adult tantrum. We're not trying to do that around babies and toddlers and teenagers because then they're going to throw a tantrum one day and you don't know how that's going to manifest. You really don't. You think that they're just going to do it behind closed doors. They might do it in public and they might get arrested for one day because they don't know how to regulate their emotions. That's how much you influence your child. So, one of the things I wanted to go over was learning to communicate my emotions instead of just saying, you're wrong. So, let's just say like I didn't like it when my partner did something. I don't have a specific example in mind right now, but I didn't like how um I don't know, I didn't like how they said something about me to their friend. Instead of just being like, you know what? You're wrong. You're wrong for that. And you're a piece of ish because you did that to me. Explain. Sit there and be like, you know, I really didn't like it when you talked to your friend and then you revealed something that I wasn't comfortable of. Um, I would appreciate it if you didn't do that next time and if you can check with me so that you know if you can tell your friends that. And your partner isn't going to know there's a problem unless you tell them. And we shouldn't sit here and always be like, well, you should just know. You should just know. They don't know all of your sore spots and they don't know what you might be sensitive to. So you need to communicate that. And you need to say it in a calm way that you're not going down their throat because that's not fair. That's not fair to them. They were literally ignorant of it. It's not, you know, you wouldn't expect a 4-year old to do calculus. It's similar here. They don't know what they don't know. So you need to help inform them. And you need to be able to learn how to say things. And when I say this, it's stuff that I learned. I needed to say things in a way where it doesn't involve name calling, where it doesn't involve belittling. And I am just calmly telling you, I don't like it when you do X, Y, and Z. Please stop, or this is how you fix it. And give them the reason how to fix it. And once you do that, the ball's in their court. If they listen to you, that's when you can get upset, being like, well, I explained to myself already. I told you that I didn't want you to do this anymore. So why would you keep doing it? When you never explain to them, you can't fully get mad at them for making a mistake because they didn't know they were even hurting you to begin with. But once you communicated that already, then you can get a little upset, like, hey, but I told you. I told you I didn't want it like this. Within means, obviously, right? And if they keep kind of purposely doing it or purposely forgetting, I don't know how you purposely forget, but you know, if they don't care enough to remember, you can get upset about it. And then being like, look, I talked to you already about this. Doesn't mean that you should raise your voice either. And I'm not perfect. I still sometimes raise my voice. I will admit to that, but it doesn't mean that you need to resort to that right away. Um, but you do have the right to get a little upset and get a little mad of like, but I told you. So yeah, so that's when you can reiterate, I'm right, you're wrong at that point. No, I definitely had to listen to what my partners had to say. That's key. I think that's very much key because sometimes what we think is wrong, other people might not agree with. And we need to hear them out of why before we cut them off and be like, well, I'm upset and that's it. That's not fair, right? Like, I don't think that's very fair because both needs should be met. I don't believe in the whole happy life, happy wife, happy life thing because there's more to a marriage than just the wife's feelings. I really do believe in making both parties happy and listening to what they have to say. Like, my bad habit was not letting someone talk before I interrupted them. So I had to just shut my mouth and like I just have a bad habit of blurring things out right away because I just wanted to get it over with. But like I had to learn, keep your mouth shut, let them finish, let them talk. It's their time to talk and don't interrupt them because you don't want to be interrupted when you are talking and talking about your emotions. It's annoying for someone to always cut you off, right? Don't do that to them. Treat them the way you want to be treated too. This is where it fits into this scenario because if you're always like saying like, "Oh, I don't like it when you do this for me. I don't like it when you do that to me." But then like if they're saying it to you and then you kind of are always belittling them and always trying to, find a reason why what they're saying isn't correct. That's not fair either. You're not compromising in that sense either. And again, the marriage or the relationship isn't only about the wife. Isn't only about happy wife, happy life. Like that's not fair. Um, Anywho, so that was one of the things I really needed to learn. Um, and sometimes you really just have to be very descriptive. You have to be very descriptive of what that other person needs to do. I really don't believe in like, oh, well, I shouldn't have to tell him to buy me red roses or pink roses. He should just know and he should just like watch me 24/7 and know that I like those flowers in that color. It's cute. I do agree it's cute that like a man notices patterns in you and then he buys it for you, but like that's so silly and you're making it so much harder than it should be. Um it's okay to sit there and say, "Look, I want a plate of sushi, specifically salmon based, has some has cream cheese, some are fried. I want you to give me those gifts every now and then randomly." Be as blunt as possible so they can't get it wrong. Why do they need to see that you're always posting about sushi and that's when they should buy you sushi? I don't think it has to be that hard to tell someone like what you like. You don't have to tell them the exact time to give it to you. That can be a surprise of like a random Tuesday they buy you sushi, but they really shouldn't have to constantly be on you like an eagle and be like, "Oh, Sari's always posting like sushi videos and she's always posting like this specific sushi." If you're not a sushi lover, you might not even know what fish that is. It's raw fish and they all look the same sometimes. You just know the color of them and like you have to it's too much work just to get you some food. Don't make it more complicated than that. Um be very descriptive on what you want, be very precise and be very open about it so that your partner can understand and reciprocate, right? Like they can take notes, they can write it in their phone of like she likes these flowers and she likes this type of food and she likes that. Like you can't expect a man to know the exact perfume that you want all the time. Um and why are you communicating with in your relationship through stories? Like, I want this item in particular, so you're gonna post it 10 times hoping he'll see it. Just tell him he'll buy it for you one day if it's in his budget. I don't fully understand that, honestly. I don't fully understand where the person has to sit there and like watch you 24/7 to know what you like and don't like. It's okay to communicate. It's okay to be open about it and it's okay to tell your partner, I like this. I like puzzles. I like fruits. I like anime. I like action figures. I like clothes from this particular store. And me in particular, like, I like very specific things. So I do enjoy telling my partner, like, this is the, this is what I want exactly because I have so much makeup and skincare. And something very specific like that might not mesh with their skin. So you wouldn't want to buy something random. You know what I mean? Or if they just like don't like the taste of something. We should just communicate it. Um, those are the few things that I can think of that I had to unlearn from my parents and had to find resolutions to when it comes to my relationships. And it really has impacted me in a powerful way because I feel like I'm a different person now. I feel like I can talk about things that I'm upset about without having to lash out and just frame this person as the bad person. Because also, just to let you know, like the person you're in a relationship with is your partner. You're here to work together. You're not here to constantly be like, you're the bad guy and you hurt my feelings and you should go to jail. Like, that's not how I feel like you should treat each other, and like tit for tat being like, well, you did this to me on that exact Monday, on this specific month, on that specific year, at this specific time. And now it's my turn. It shouldn't be a battle all the time. It should be like we're working together to make each other happy. And this is what makes me happy, and this was is what doesn't, and communicate that with each other so that you guys can avoid whatever doesn't make you happy or fix it, find a resolution, and then work on the things that make you guys happy. We're a team. We should be a little forgiving towards each other. It really shouldn't be a sword for a sword, a stab for a stab. Um, the world's already rough as it is. Like, it's already hard to be in society and not get criticized for what you look like, or to get a job, or to be accepted in the world. It doesn't have to be a war in your household too, between you and your partner. That's the one person that you should feel safe with. That's the one person that you should feel like I could tell them what I'm upset about and they're not going to gaslight me. They're not going to flip it on me and be like, you're crazy. You're crazy for thinking that's an issue and blah blah blah. Um Again, within means, like, I feel like it's unreasonable for someone to be like, give me $1 million every day. Because I would, that's comical if someone actually says that. But like, what I'm trying to say is like, don't ask for crazy extremes. That's when it's be like, I don't even have $1 million to give myself, let alone for you every single day. Um, but if it's like, I don't like it when you talk to me in this tone, or one good thing that I think I can think of at the moment is when my boyfriend would he would think spending time together meant sitting and doing our own thing in the same room. And I was like, we're not spending time together just because we're in the same vicinity. We're not even talking. You're on your laptop playing a game and I'm watching a show or on my phone. We're in our own worlds. And that was something I didn't like between him and I. And I was like, this is not, because my love language is also quality time. And I was like, this is not quality time. This is our own personal times and simply sitting in the same room. And I communicated that with him, and I explained to him like, I would like for us to talk more. I would like for us to talk about our days. And he kind of made excuses saying like, well, more things happen to you because X, Y, and Z, like you go into the office and I don't. I work from home and I deal with the same exact people. And I'm like, okay, so you can't talk about work, but you're always listening to an audiobook. Can't you talk to me about one of those stories? I don't mind talking about it. Can't we talk about one of the shows that we watched? Can't we talk about what's going on in the news? Can't we talk about our interests a little more? Like, um, literally, he listens to like, I don't know how many audiobooks throughout the entire day. But I'm like, why don't you talk to me about one of those things? I like fantasy too. We have that in common. I don't know why you keep saying you have nothing to talk about. You have to put effort into it too. I can't be the only one thinking of ideas of what to say and what not to say with you. You need to do it as well. And this is something I communicated with him in this tone. And he was like, okay, I'll try. And for him, he would try by, like, I literally had to show him how to do it. Like, I gave an example of asking, like, okay, you like um, makeup. What do you like? Like, I was kind of showing him how I would interview myself if I was trying to be friends with me. I can tell you like makeup. Like, what kind of makeup do you like? What do you like? What kind of looks do you like to do? Do you like wearing eyelashes all the time? Do you like wearing bright lipsticks, dark lipsticks? And if you truly don't know any of those topics, you can just say, tell me about your makeup and why you like it. What brands do you like? And like, do you like wearing it certain looks at certain events, etc. Like, it doesn't have to be, you don't have to be an expert to have a conversation with somebody and ask them certain questions. You can kind of pave it to a more generic question, and then they can answer, and then you ask questions based off of those answers. So that was my way of communicating with my boyfriend of how I wanted to be loved, right? Instead of being like, all you do is sit on your laptop and do nothing and you don't love me. What's he gonna do with that? Not much, because he doesn't know and he just feels guilty for what he's done to me. Me explaining to him and going into detail helps him a lot, and it helps him with real examples. And I think that is very important in relationships to explain that to each other. Once you explain that, that's when you can get upset and be like, well, I told you already, and you're not doing it. That's when I feel like it's okay to be like, I'm mad. I told you 3 times and you're still not trying. I am angry. I, I don't know if I want to be in this relationship if you're not going to try as much as me. That's when you can kind of say those type of things. But if it's the first few times, like, it's gonna take a few times for them to adjust, and you have to give them time to adjust to what you're asking for because, they didn't, you know, they weren't used to doing this with somebody, obviously, because if they were, they would have done it by now. So therefore, they have to, adjust your liking and your communication style and what you would want in a relationship. And I just wanna say, like, if you guys have specific examples of or questions of what you want to unlearn, I can definitely make a video and dive into those questionnaires. Just leave it in the comments and just say, like, I'm having this issue when it comes to whatever your relationship problem is, or like whatever your communication style is, or whatever your personal habit is that you had as a child or whatnot, and what you're trying to unlearn as an adult. You can also message me on Instagram. I won't out your identity. Don't worry. I'm not like that. And just ask me like a specific question, and I can definitely make a video on it because I'm kind of just talking about my experience. And if I can help you guys talk about it in a way where it's specific to you, I don't mind making a video about it. Like, it would be good content for me, and it would be something for you to kind of actually personalize with. So with that being said, again, I hope this video helps you guys learn a few more tips and tricks throughout life, and kind of just sharing my personal stories of how I was able to adopt them in my own life. Thank you, and I hope you have a nice day.